Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's plan was to go out and do some scouting of compositions over in a woods where I live, or near where I live. But unfortunately I came up against two problems. First problem, when I actually got to the location, the car park was actually closed due to maintenance issues, so I wasn't able to actually get into the car park, and there was nowhere safe or suitable to park my car. And also the second thing was the weather really wasn't on my side. It wasn't the right time of day that I really wanted to go out and look for these compositions, but it was a time that I only had this week to actually go out and have a look. So unfortunately, that was really sort of put the scuppers on that one. But what I thought I'd do is come back to my office and have a chat with yourselves about your thoughts regarding competitions within photographic clubs and photography in general, really. It's something that I enjoy doing. As you may know, I'm part of a photographic club, and we meet regularly during half of the year, and part of them, obviously, our weekly meetings. We enter into competitions. Some of the competitions are open, so there's no set subjects, and some of them do have specific subjects in hand. For example, landscape or portrait photography, street photography, etc., and also some still life photography as well, which I really do enjoy. But I kind of thought about it and thought, well, what do you like about competitions? Do you feel that they're actually beneficial within photography? And do you feel that they actually add value when you have entered into competitions? If any of you are members of other camera clubs, do you meet regularly and enter into competitions as well? Because every club's different, and everyone's personal opinions about competitions is very different. But for me, I think that it's a two-sided coin, really. For one, that the competitions are beneficial, so you're sort of trying to hone your photographic skills, trying to improve the actual compositions that you create when you're taking that image. So obviously then you can score better, and then obviously get better value for your actual image, and obviously always trying to improve your photographic skills. On the opposite side of it though, it really depends on who's actually judging your images as well. And many friends and at my camera club have always said that it's taking the information from the judges that you get, and the sort of positive and negative feedback that you get from the judges, but always remembering that it's their personal opinion. And I think that's the real key thing, really, is that it is trying to understand that it is one person's opinion on your photograph that you've taken. And you may have put so much effort into taking all of the images and that you're producing for the competitions, but then for someone to sort of react negatively, it can be quite hurtful, to be frank. And you sort of they don't actually see what goes on behind the camera, how much effort it took for you to actually get out to take that image, how much post-processing time it took to actually again create that image. And they're only just seeing the image straight up in front of them, either in a printed format or obviously in a digital image. It must be very hard for the actual judge to make that opinion on basing just looking at that actual image that they're seeing. But it can be quite tricky, and I just, as I say, sort of thought about asking yourselves and trying to hopefully get a bit of a communication going within the comments after this video to see what your opinions are about it, and to see whether or not you like entering competitions, if you go to a photography club and you enter competitions there, or you go to sort of larger competitions, so sort of regional or national competitions as well, and seeing whether or not they actually are of any benefit to you. So hopefully we can just go through some of the images today of what I've actually taken, and hopefully some of the images that I'll be putting forward for some of the competitions that I've got over this 4K season, and hopefully taking it and having a look at those and seeing what your opinions are as well. So just looking at one of the images that I'm considering putting in for the competitions for this season at my camera club is this image that I actually took in Gran Canaria. So please click on the link above if you want to view that vlog. But it's one of the images that I'm really pleased about, and I'll put it up on main screen now. And it's obviously where you've got the detail of the lines of the sand leading you through the image up to the sand dune, and also with the mountains in the background as well, sort of really adds to the actual image, I feel, and quite a strong contrast between the light areas and then obviously the dark areas as well, and having it converted into black and white really actually makes the image stand out a lot better now. And hopefully that's for me will be one of my images that I will consider entering into the landscape subject competition when it comes around in my photographic club. So moving on, the next image that I'm considering entering for my competitions this year is this one here, one of my still life photos that I took. It's quite an interesting image. I really do enjoy still life photography. I think you can be so creative when you're doing still life photography and put your own personal touches on it. If you've got a bit of humour, you can sort of add that in there as well. And hopefully with this one here that I've actually been able to put that humour in as well. So I'll put the image up now, and it's an image of some pairs, some conference pairs around a table having a conference. So again, that's sort of working on that sort of humour level there as well, and obviously with the pair gender that they've actually got to make in strawberry smoothies. So hopefully with the sort of written text in there as well, the fact that they're sitting around a table and obviously it's the conference pairs will hopefully add a bit more of a humour element to the actual image, the actual judging. And it's quite a good actual photo to take. I obviously staged it all, made sure that the pairs themselves were sort of anchored down with a little bit of blue tack underneath, and all sort of with the stems facing the right way to obviously be looking around the table and make out that they're actually having the conference. And then obviously I've got a flash to illuminate these, and that's sort of coming from behind or above the image, and again sort of creating that bit more of sort of a drama with the actual image itself. So hopefully that one will work out really quite well. So one of the final images that I'm entering into the competitions this year is this image here. Now this was an amazing image that I was able to take over at Richmond Park in London. It was a fantastic opportunity to go there and actually take the images of the deer in Richmond Park. Now it can be quite hazardous. There's many reports of deer chasing people and chasing dogs as well, as there's a high number of deers in obviously a very small location. And rather than me having to get on a plane and travelling miles and miles up to Scotland to actually see deer in the wild, it was obviously an opportunity to see them a little bit closer to home as such. But this image here, which I'll pop up on screen, was one of the male deers going across one of the actual water little ponds here, and it was absolutely amazing. I was out early in the morning when I actually took this image. I had my long lens on, and I was sort of slightly hiding or trying to camouflage myself a little bit behind a tree so I could actually capture the deer within their natural environment, and rather than spooking them or getting them to look at me and just sort of stand their ground as such, I wanted to get that sort of natural movement. And as this deer sort of started running through the pond here, I was able to sort of capture this image, and having the sharpness around the eyes, which is obviously always key with any sort of nature photography, animal photography, but then also sort of freezing the water splashes as well. So I had to make sure that I kept the aperture quite open for this one, so I could obviously freeze it as quick as I possibly can, and hopefully worked out quite a good image. So that's just a brief selection of a few of the images that I'm considering entering into my photographic competitions for this forthcoming season. And it'd be interesting to see what you consider about those images, whether or not it's actually worth me putting them in, if actually they're complete rubbish, and make a comment, Rob, better try again, mate, sort of thing. But again, it's sort of all about that personal opinion, I think, really. Me as the photographer, I obviously have more of a vested interest within the actual images. I know what effort went behind actually to take the images, and no doubt you do about your own images as well. So please leave a comment below. Let's sort of have a bit of a conversation about what you feel, the pluses and the minuses about actual photographic competitions, and take it forward from there. But thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. Please consider subscribing as well if you haven't already subscribed. Make sure that you also hit that bell icon as well, so you get notified each time that I make a post. Please also make sure you give it a thumbs up as well, so obviously that gets an understanding that I'm producing the right content as well. But thanks a lot for watching, and take care.